Audubon 2456.
State of the Save is back with part 2 of Half-Life 2. Going to be a great episode again, as always. I'm your host again, Eric. Also with me, my co-host, Michael. How
Hello.
you doing, Michael?
I'm doing good. My voice sounds normal, more normal than I thought it was going to be because the rain washed out my sinuses.
Yeah, you guys almost got like the rough, gruff, like the lumberjack version of State of the Save. We're all on here talking like this. No, yeah, we got some rain, so the sea of pollen has been washed away for at least 24 hours.
It's going to come back stronger, but until then, let's just enjoy the calm before the storm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to like go outside for the next 24 hours and enjoy it and then lock myself away as much as I can. No, but it's been a nice reprieve. Half-Life 2 Part 2. We're going to finish up our discussion on Half-Life 2. It's been a great game to talk about. If you didn't have opportunity, go back and listen to Part 1. I highly suggest it. Also today we'll be announcing our next game. That if you look in the comments of this very show, you might already know what it is. But we always act like that doesn't exist.
There is no time codes in Ba Sing Se.
I've learned that we've just pretty much ignored the fact that we spoil it ourselves in the time codes. But I just enjoy just acting like that doesn't exist. No, it's going to be a great episode today, so let's jump right into it. Michael.
Yes.
Video games and video game activities. What have you been doing in the realm of video games or just life in general?
There was a movie that came out.
Oh no! Wait a second. This is a video game podcast. We can't talk about video game movies.
But why not?
Because I know which movie it is. No, Michael, you have seen the Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I have seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and in the preceding week saw Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for the first time.
Which, so you pre-gamed.
I pre-gamed. I prepped because I didn't see the first one around the time, because it was like the big movie before lockdown started happening, like the last one.
Yeah, it pretty much was like, yeah, here's the movie that you can go see, and then here's lockdown. So, you never see a movie theater again for 3 years.
For a while, we thought Sonic the Hedgehog 2 would be the highest-grossing film of that year, which is a crazy time to follow.
Was it?
I don't know. It might still be
of 2020.
Of 2020, it might.
Because the only thing that came out other than that, really, that would challenge it would be Tenet, right?
Yeah, and Tenet was in theaters for ever.
Yeah, it was in there for a long time.
It was like, we're here if you want to see it.
If you're willing to risk it, come see Tenet. The last Nolan movie that I remember, no one in my circle talked about at all.
Not to get too in the weeds, but I thought that was an alright movie.
I feel like you have a film major. You can talk about the movies with some semblance of
No, top 3 for 2020. Bad Boys for Life, 1917, and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, first of all, I did not know that there was a new Bad Boys movie. 1917 is a good film, and Sonic the Hedgehog being third, I feel like it's the alternate timeline that we're living in.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
So I watched the first one going in, and I was being excited for the second one. The trailer that played at the Game Awards had me really excited because I'm like, here's Tails, here's Knuckles, here's more of a plot from the games. Okay, I'll give the first one a try. I watched the first one, and I'm like, ooh, this is clearly a film designed for 6-year-olds, which I know that's the intended purpose and everything. But I'm like, oh man, what did I get myself into with the second one? So. Me and John, you might remember him from the Undertale episode.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Show. We saw the movie and we recorded our about 3 minutes of recording after 10 minutes after seeing the movie.
So the getting in the car, going to get food conversation
after the movie.
After the movie. So, Michael, it's almost like if there was a recording device nearby, it's almost like we could cut to that conversation.
Through the magic of editing, here it is. Hey, it's Michael, live from the field with my friend John.
We just got back from the field.
It was a big field. Oh boy.
I saw a green hill.
A green hill, some loop-de-loops. We just saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2
Oh yeah,
in theaters.
we saw that, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
This was much better than the first one for me. Like, I spent most of the runtime of the first one watching it this week, cringing with the occasional moment of awesome. Just like the opposite. This one had the occasional moment of cringe, but was mostly really good.
Yeah, actually, there were a lot of
surprisingly good.
Yeah, Michael's a bit more of a Sonic fan than I am, but there were a lot of references in there that were fantastic.
I made the joke on the Adventure 2 show that you're never it's like being but being a Sonic fan is like being an alcoholic. You recover, and you're never not an alcoholic anymore. You're in the state of recovering. Hi, my name is Michael. I'm a recovering Sonic fan. Occasionally, once you get past it, you can take the occasional sip of Sonic the Hedgehog and go, okay, I'm recovered. I'm not jumping back in fully, but it was nice. It was
Everybody has their vices, minus Sonic.
basically.
No, but it was great. It was very fun. I highly recommend it as just a fun movie to go see if you liked Sonic the Hedgehog at any point in your life.
This is a great kids movie.
Yeah,
This
it's
movie
for kids.
This movie is very much ultimately designed for 6-year-olds to go and have a good time. But
Yeah.
I can say, unlike the first movie, I think parents will probably have a good time with this one too if they have no knowledge of Sonic.
Some of those parents might have grown up with Sonic.
And if you have grown up with Sonic and you're a parent, this will be a blast.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of references to, especially Sonic 3. There's a section in this level there's a section of this movie that's a level ripped from Sonic 1 that I lost my mind at. So also, I will protect Tails with my life. I love Tails.
Yeah, they did a good job portraying Tails and Knuckles. In this
And
movie.
Knuckles was amazing.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Idris Elba as Knuckles, but I love that they kept the modern voice actress for Tails. She did a great job. I love that fox. I will protect him with my life. Also, what made me happy was they kept Tails' original backstory, how he was made fun of as a kid, and then leaned on to Sonic because Sonic was really fast and cool. So,
And he was just treating him nice. He was good.
Yeah, exactly. I love their friend, almost brother relationship. He was protecting a little brother throughout this movie. I really enjoyed that bit. There is a lot of a lot of jokes geared towards especially small children.
Yeah.
This movie's made for them.
Yeah.
But
Without spoiling too much, Sonic flossed in the first movie a couple times. Eggman flosses in this one.
you can't escape the floss. We have tried to escape the floss,
Yeah.
and it hasn't. We as a society.
When Jim Carrey flosses at you, there's just no winning.
Jim Carrey was good.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, he was a highlight of the film for sure. He was fantastic.
Really, so I like that he went full Eggman in this one especially. But yeah, that's our small take on Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Are we just finished watching this 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Take.
We'll pop this in somewhere.
Heck yeah.
All right, so take care, John.
Yeah. Take care.
So that's overall what we thought of the movie.
I just want to say, I'm going to blow this right from the get-go. Michael was perfect with coming back from that segue, and it kind of scared me. Because I was waiting, and I was like, I don't know how long we need to wait for this segue. No, but that was your thoughts on the movie.
That was the thoughts of the movie. So overall, really surprised how much I ended up enjoying that thing.
We went retro video game shopping. Because that's the thing you have to do when you have a show about retro video games and backlog video games.
Especially some that got delisted.
Yeah, things that got delisted. Spoiler. And you were talking about it as we were driving around, and yeah, you described it as it's a kid's movie, but a good kid's movie.
If you are a parent who grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog, you are going to have a blast because your kid is going to have a great time. And you are going to get a lot of references, as I mentioned in that segue we just did. There are segments of this film that are just levels lifted straight from the first Sonic game, which had me extremely excited. There is a bit where I was like, did I secretly like this movie in a dream? It was where Tails, no real spoilers here, Tails steals a cop car at one point and hits Knuckles with it. And they proceed to do a chase in the woods lifted straight from Terminator 2, complete with running through the woods, jumping on the roof of the car, and Knuckles using his knife hands to cut into the car as they try to shake him off. And I was at this point going, this is Okay.
I think that it is insane
Yes.
that we live in a world where the video game property that has had the closest to breaking the video game movie curse is Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, if it was the year 1990, and I walked up to you, Michael, and I said, one day there's going to be a really good film based on a video game. And you say to me, well, okay, you can't use 1990. It's before Sonic the Hedgehog. 2001.
Metal Gear Solid.
2001. You would say like a Metal Gear Solid. Hell, I say, hey, Michael, there's going to be like 7 Resident Evil movies. You're going to be like, well, clearly one of them is going to be good. How are you going to mess up a zombie movie, Eric? Or Prince of Persia. Or
Prince of Persia wasn't bad.
Yeah, you're like...
I saw it at a younger age, but I thought that one was all right.
Okay, we'll let you live in that fantasy. Super Mario Brothers. All of these films, and they'll be like, no, Sonic the Hedgehog is the one that breaks the curse. No, it seems like it's a fun kids movie. I think, and they'll, hey man, they're leaning heavily into it. You've got Tails, you've got Knuckles, you've got Jim Carrey running around as a more accurate version of Eggman. Like, it's not something I thought I would see in my lifetime, but I'm very happy that it's people are enjoying it.
I'm very happy. Stay through the mid-credits for you fans.
That's just the rule
That's
now
the rule.
with all movies.
All blockbusters with sequels, you gotta stay through.
What's the last movie I saw in theaters was Dune. Was there anything at the end of Dune's credits?
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So, like, some movies don't have that, but I'm getting kind of sick of it because a lot of times by the time we reach the credits, I gotta take a piss, and I'm just sitting there like, come on, man, just get to the little flash of Thor picking up a hammer or some shit, and so I go take a piss.
I was really worried about the Batman. I asked someone, I was like, do I have to stay through that credits because after 3 hours, I'm going to need to make an emergency restroom trip. And they're like, it's a teaser to go on like the website or something. I'm like, oh, okay, that'll.
Okay, see.
Yeah. I'll watch that online, whatever.
Yeah, I have yet to see the Batman. I want to see the Batman.
It is on HBO Max as the time we are recording this. It's just
really?
Now. Yeah, so you can go home and watch it right now.
Well, I can't do it right now, but I might do it this week. I'm very excited about that. I want to see the Batman.
Oh, it's really good.
No, I imagine it is. I'm very excited about that. Anything else video game related?
Update. Last time I talked about how it was a long process, but I finally got my wife into like actively playing Animal Crossing. We've reached the breaking point where now we're on the hunt for some Animal Crossing amiibo cards. I've done it. I told myself I wouldn't do it, but I bought some amiibos. The card version, not the physical figures.
Okay, at least you're buying the cards and not the physical figures.
Because we were now about 3 card packs filled with like 6 cards each, so I have 18 cards, which I have entered them into my video game collecting app, and I found out each individual cards have like intrinsic value. So I'm like looking at this thing and goes like, ooh, this tiger's worth $9 on eBay. For a $6 card back, I can get $9 off this tiger.
One day,
so it's going to.
One day, Michael will enter WrestleMania with a amiibo card around his neck. A.E. Logan Paul at this year's WrestleMania.
Well, it changes constantly. My KK slider is not worth more. Speaking of which,
we do not need to have you sitting here on the podcast checking the money your amiibo cards are worth. God damn it! That's gonna be the next review. It's just gonna be like these assholes are on the podcast checking their amiibo cards to see how much they can resell them for. You're gonna be the freaking. Like, you're going to be the Elon Musk of this show, being like, hey, you should all invest in amiibo cards.
Invest in KK Slider.
KK Slider's where it's at. To the moon, everybody.
Speaking of KK, that was the one card we were looking for. KK Slider, if you haven't played Animal Crossing, is a dog that plays the guitar who will show up every Saturday night to do a concert on your island and takes requests. So, my wife was very adamant, because I got the DLC, to be like, hey, you need to use this card and make a vacation home for KK Slider. Because then the DLC I talked about on the show where you're making vacation homes. If you have an amiibo card, you can request any of the cards you have to come and make a vacation home. So I made like a vacation pad, a 2-story vacation pad for KK Slider. Where he can come like in between like shows on his tour to just relax. kick back, hang out.
It's his Rockstar pad.
Yeah, it has pool table, has like a wraparound couch.
Man,
has
KK Slider lives a better life than I do.
Yeah. On his own like private island type thing that we made. So yeah, so that was the main thing. And now and my wife's like, well, I'm good for now. Like, but the next step is to make 10 more houses so that the DJ version of KK Slider, DJ KK, will come into a big music festival. So it happened, which has me playing more of the game because since I have the DLC, she wants to see all the vacation stuff.
I am glad that Animal Crossing is such a thing that it brings you and your wife joy, and many people that listen to this show, and many people. It's not my thing, but it makes me happy to see everybody get so happy about something so wholesome. Like in the world we live in, the fact that people are like, hey, I see it all over the place. And we saw it when Animal Crossing during the pandemic and stuff. It's brings joy to people in a very wholesome way, and it's like no matter who you're talking to, you'd be talking to the most badass motherfucker, but then he'll be like, let me tell you about my Animal Crossing village.
If they all want to listen to the whole
happy
thing.
they're 5 years old all over again. It just brings me joy that people are that
it's
excited.
It's a beautiful thing. I am so like there will not be another game on Switch to come close to our count. It passed Breath of the Wild. It passed Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's now the number one on like my most played, and it'll sit there for like all eternity on my Switch.
I feel so guilty about Breath of the Wild because I got really into that for a couple of weeks,
and then Elden Ring
dropped, and I just fell completely off. I need to get back in because I'm at a point in Elden Ring where I've hit the wall.
That's where I was.
I know what I need to do, which is to go respec. I spec in a way that the game's meta is not being very friendly to. I spec in a very strength, dexterity, and vitality. So dude hitting people with big swords is what I spec to, and boy is the meta not in that ward right now.
It was for the first bit.
I had a hell of a guy. I was knocking fools out. I looked like the guy from Berserk for a while there. But now it's all in magic, baby. It's all in magic. But I've got to do some respecing. I need to head back and respec. But I feel like until I'm willing to bite the bullet and respec and start upgrading in certain directions.
Here's the thing I learned, because I was at a wall too. This past weekend, I finally beat the second demigod because I realized I am paper when it comes to magic, so Rhea Lucaria was not... I had to respec a lot doing Rhea Lucaria. Then I was able to get through it until I got to Renan, I think her name is?
Radon?
Renan, not Radon. That's a different dude coming up that I have
That's
to
who
deal
I'm
with.
fighting right now.
Oh, okay.
He's a very big man on a very small horse.
A lot of R's in the world of Elden Ring, turns out. It's like a guy with 2 R's wrote this or something.
Yeah, it's almost all the bosses must be named with the same letter as my middle name. I don't even know what his middle name is. I know it's J.R.R. Martin, but I don't know what that stands for. No, you're talking about the second major demigod fight.
Yeah, the one who teleports you to the moon and does a Kamehameha and will eat you alive in your health.
I felt so almost robbed with her because I wiped her out on my first fight. And, I think I was spec'd at the time so heavy into strength, she does not take a lot of hits. And so I was doing a lot of damage per hit. And was a walking tank at that point. But if it makes you feel any better, I have hit the next guy who is Radon.
Yeah.
Radon, who is the it's a cool fight.
I saw some GIFs. He throws a moon at you or something like that.
He throws a moon at you. He is a humongous giant man who rides a normal sized horse. You can bring in all the different people that you meet on your travels.
Ooh, that's cool.
So you have an army of people you can summon in on top of if you decide to summon in another player. It's a cool fight. He's an awesome boss, but I'm struggling with him. He's had some patches. He had a patch that kind of nerfed him, and then right before I got to him, he had a patch that kind of fixed him and made him a lot harder. So now, thank you subreddit for bitching about how easy it was. I know that there was also a brick wall of a boss coming.
I feel like that's just the game at this point.
Melina,
someone.
who is the one who like I stare off into the distance and know that she's coming.
But
so I'm just terrified.
What you need to do is, have you seen the story about the?
Let me solo her.
Let me solo. The brave naked man with a pot in his head who will.
If anyone can put us in touch with that man, I would do his interview. We'll just interview him. I want to know about this man. He's a legend. He is an internet legend. I have seen fan art of him. I have seen more. There's like impersonators of him now. Like he's a legend.
I understand because I use the summon to get me past the second demigod fight, and I feel like after they help you through, it feels like you owe them your life. Because like I wouldn't have been here without you. So I messaged thank you to Omega Raikon for helping me beat this fight. I said, "You're my hero, thank you." He said, "My pleasure, it was fun," and then sent the like flexing muscle emoji.
I will say, I do not understand the hate towards the summoning of other players, because to me, it's one of my like favorite moments. Because I think you could summon players and just try to stay back and not fight, and if you do that, you're robbing yourself. I think of the experience. But to me, I really enjoy when I summon another player in, because it feels like a crossover episode, or it feels like a major moment in a movie where the two heroes
where you're
team
just
up.
beaten down, and then at the last moment, someone comes and saves you, and then you both pick yourselves up, charge the boss, and just
I had a
wreck
big
him.
fight with a fire lizard, an optional boss, and me and the guy who I had summoned with, we took some big hits early on. We didn't have much health, but it was just the two of us baiting him around this big pillar, and he'd come around and smack him and draw his aggro, and then I come around the back and smack him, and it was just this unspoken strategy.
Yeah,
Felt really cool. And when we finally beat him, he sacrificed himself for me to beat him, so he was barely alive, and the thing was spewing fire and lava everywhere, and he charged in and took the death just for me to come in behind and do the big jump attack to kill him. And I'm like,
oh yeah, like
I feel
this
like
happened with me too. The guy, he died right before it had the last sliver of health, so I was like, I'm on my own here. Every hit counts, and that makes it so much more tense than just going in.
Well, like also,
originally.
like I was,
because you're like, I can't. He got me here. I can't let him down.
it felt like such a big moment in like a movie or like a TV show or something, where he takes the blow and he goes down. You swing in for the revenge and you kill the boss, and like as he's dying, I kill the boss. So it's almost like he knew. We did it, buddy. We took him down.
It's the reason I loved Monster Hunter World so much. Because there were moments where when you encountered the boss, you had the option to shoot up a flare into the sky, and players would answer the call. So, like, you have the moment of, like, they don't come immediately when you fire it. So you could just be beaten down, and at that moment, you hear someone has joined your quest, they're gearing up, they're preparing to come and help you. And then they'll just, like, swoop in from, like, the sky on, like, a wyvern and just come down and just, like, slice the, like, Rathalos or something. And it's
this feeling of like and like I've actually done some summons. I'm not very good at Elden Ring. Like I'm
terrible at it.
But I've done some put down like on some of the lower bosses that I've beaten before. I've done some put down my mark and get ready to help out people. Because you feel like it's a cool moment. I really don't. I get that those cool gamer points for beating the game without doing any summons. But, like, for me, I don't care about that. I'm more excited about when I get to bring in a guy who we get to team up and work together. It's just a fun moment. I'm not really into the negative, like, invading players stuff just because that's a meta into itself.
Yeah.
And
also,
I'm
it's
not
like
really...
this game is so oppressive that I don't want to add to that in any way. Not that I'm saying I would add to it. Because, like, if I invade someone's game, they're probably going to wipe the floor with me. But
I would say that, though, like, when I've been invaded, I actually kind of like it. Because it is a cool moment of, like, oh, shit, here we go, And I've had, I think, 2 invasions. I haven't had a lot of invasions.
I don't know if they were, to this day, I can't tell you if they were, like, real people or not. Because there is some moments where they're, like, fake.
Yeah, those are fake invasions. The only reason I know is that they usually aren't there when you fake invasions are repeated at
Yeah,
consoles, so
yeah.
you can go back and fight them again.
But there were some, a couple I beat the first time that I just don't know if they were like real players or not.
The ones that I beat that I knew were real players was because the names were so weird.
Gotcha.
That I was like, this is somebody.
That's fair. So it's possible I never ran into an actual real player.
Yeah, but I've enjoyed it. One of them was a cool fight. I lost it, but it was like a even, back and forth fight. The other guy was spec direct people. But I give him credit. He didn't like cheap shot me or anything. Like he did the wave thing as I approached and gave me a chance to do my little beckon thing at him. So we had a cool moment, but then he just wiped the floor with me.
Spec to Rec would be a great username.
Spec Direct is a great username. Copyright.
Claim it.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
So I'm still in the process of going through the process of buying a home.
I'm sorry.
So yes, thank you. Your sympathy is great. I might be broke right now. I don't fucking know. Could be broke. Don't know. Could have a lot of money. Don't know. Welcome to the world of buying a house in 2022. But that doesn't leave a lot of time for video games. What it has left is a lot of time for me to prep about video games. I got tons of games I'm excited about. I even had a little bit of time where I made a list of games coming out this year that I'm excited about and getting ready for. Yeah, shit, it's going to be a good year for Ninja Turtle games.
It really is going to be a good year for that.
But speaking of which, they put the Target pre-order for the Ninja Turtle collection.
I think I saw that
it's like
going around.
$150. But it's tempting. But I ain't going to buy it, but $150. But so I got like a ton of games I've been looking to play. Wild West is on my hard drive. I really, really want to play that. I hear good things. Instead, I'm going to take my little bit of time here to talk about what we're not going to do for the show anymore. So I talked and said that we're not going to do the Halo show because I watched the first episode and I was like, this ain't that very good. And then I took some in real life flack from a couple of listeners who gave me some flack about giving up that easy. So instead, I sat down on one Saturday morning and I watched episode 2 and episode 3. And I reconfirmed we're not going to do the Halo show. I'm not going to do a show that's miserable for me. That thing is bad.
I saw Master Chief gets naked.
Yeah, I saw Master Chief's ass.
That's the last thing I saw about like discussion about it was just like Master Chief is nude.
Yeah, he's naked. Master Chief is naked. Not only does he take the helmet off, he takes everything off.
It should have been the other way around. Everything should have came off except the helmet.
Oh my god,
that would have been hilarious.
I would love the show if it was just Master Chief and his helmet and nothing else. There's a lot of like.
There's probably some websites for just that.
I'm sure there is. There's some subreddits dedicated to it. Nothing but helmet. Nothing but helmet. That show continues to be just a baffling thing to me. I watched episode 2 and 3. I am officially going to go ahead and call it. I gave the show 3 episodes.
That's good college try.
Yeah, I the biggest crime that show creates is that it's boring.
Oh, that's
the biggest crime. Yeah. Like, there's many lore changes and character changes and story changes that I don't care for. But the biggest thing is, if you do a show that's interesting, I would still give it a shot, even though if it's not following the story or whatever. That show is just boring.
I mean, if it was at least an interesting sci-fi story, you'd be like, well, it's not really Halo, but at least it has my attention.
Yeah, I like science fiction. Science fiction is arguably my favorite genre of anything. My favorite franchises are pretty much all science fiction stuff.
Yep.
My favorite books, I've read 10 books this year so far. Other than biographies, it's all been science fiction. I love science fiction. Even non-Halo science fiction is fine with me. But the biggest crime is the show is just boring. And for a show about a game series that is about action and suspense and adventure, boy, is there a lot of people just sitting around being sad. And I don't care about the fact that his helmet's off all the time. It just feels like a boring show. It feels like somebody watched some HBO dramas and thought that they needed to take all the worst aspects of HBO dramas. So long episodes is just people talking about things that are about to happen. It's a boring show. We're not going to do it. We are going to do, hopefully very soon, the Moon Knight episode. where we talk about the Moon Knight show.
Because that's for for 3 episodes has been really good.
Moon Knight's been great. Yeah, so don't watch the Halo show. Watch Moon Knight.
Speaking of a show that doesn't necessarily adhere to the source material 1-to-1, it's still compelling and interesting.
Me and Michael are huge Moon Knight fans. We can both agree this is not following Moon Knight's standard MO, but that's okay because they're taking that and they're still telling an interesting, compelling story.
Plus, every run of Moon Knight, he's never had a solid MO.
Yeah,
Run.
Moon Knight has the advantage of not ever having a solid story, consistent through line. It's kind of his thing.
Not to get too into this, I had a friend ask me, so are his powers dependent on the moon? I'm like, my answer is, it depends.
Depends on what day is it. I always like that concept, though. Real quick, before we get into Half-Life, Moon Knight used to have a thing where depending on what the phase of the moon is, depending on how strong he was. So a full moon, Moon Knight was nobody to fuck with. But on no Moon Knight, you're just a dude. I just love the fact, shit, Thanos is attacking? Guys, it's like the moon's in that 1/8 sliver stage, so I'm only as tough as a guy who lifts weights on the weekends. So can we see you? Can we get through this in a week? Because in a week I want to fuck up Thanos. Nah, Moon Knight is a great show so far. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. Oscar Isaac, high quality actor.
Fantastic actor.
When they give him stuff to do, he is a beast of an actor, but boy has he taken some projects. For every Dune and Ex Machina that he's done, there's an X-Men Apocalypse.
Or The Rise of Skywalker.
Or Rise of Skywalker, or every Star Wars movie he was in.
Let's not get into it.
That was a parting shot at Michael.
Let's not.
Half-Life 2, everybody!
Half-Life 2!
So when we left off, we had just completed the mission, Sand Trap. No, we were starting
Highway
the
17.
Mission. Highway 17, we were starting Sand Traps. One thing we talked about before the show, me and Michael, was there's not a ton of story stuff in Half-Life 2.
It's backloaded at the very end, and at that point, it's just as someone who hasn't played the first Half-Life, I'm like, this is not why I'm here, and they kind of just drop it on me at the ending of this thing.
It's a lot of setup. One thing I would remind you is that, remember, they were planning on doing this whole concept that games were going to become episodic.
Yeah, I do, even though I don't fully grasp it. The stinger at the end, I really liked, too. So, because it's intriguing in a way.
We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
But I would remind you, though, somewhere in the game plan was this concept of, Half-Life will be continued in these episodic forms all the way through the end.
How's that gone?
Not well. Sand Traps is our first mission back into here. Sand Traps is a mission that I really, really enjoyed.
It's very briskly paced. You go a lot of places in this Sand Traps mission very, very quickly.
Yeah, you go through the tunnels where you're dealing with zombies and...
Yeah, the attack, we have to physically get out of the car and use your gravity gun to push cars out of the way. I'm going to say the word... I wrote this down 10 times. I'm going to say the word tense a lot because there's a lot of the action pieces in this section are really tense in the fact that you always feel even though you have the capacity of a small army at your arsenal, you always feel you can go down at a moment's notice. You never feel you're overpowered.
There's several enemies that can really wipe you quickly. Everyone talks about poison head crabs, but shotgun carbine can take you out in a couple bursts.
Oh, that last chapter especially has some dangerous combos of enemy that'll just
We'll talk about that because when I think of Half-Life 2, if you stop me before we did the playback through of this game, I think of Ravenholm, I think of Nova Prospect, and I think of several of the story beats. And that's one thing that was kind of shocking to me replaying this, was how little those story beats really mattered to me on the replay through. And I realized that a lot of the story beats and character stuff I really loved is from the episode 1 and episode 2.
So a lot of stuff that you thought was from this game was from stuff that came later.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Especially post the events of this game in episode 1. I've always been a big Alex fan. and I forgot how little she is in this game compared to in episode 1 in which she's with you almost the entire time.
See, that was the strangest thing to me, because I thought the second half would be, as someone who like is aware of Half-Life 2, it seems like a lot of the stuff I was aware of came later than this.
Yeah.
Because I knew, Alex is a companion character who with really good AI who will help you, and you do get some companion characters in this.
Oh, yeah.
Not the best AI.
I think the problem with that is, and I am guilty of this too, I remember Alex because of episode 1 and where her AI is very, very good, and she is with you almost the entire episode. And so going back through this, I forgot how little she's actually with you and how often the game pulls her away just to show back up for story moments. Mm-hmm. Also, apparently Alex can die.
Yeah, I shot her in the face with in Nova Prospect.
She got taken down by a combine shotgunner in like 2 bursts. And I was like, I was thinking she was an invincible AI. And so I was ignoring that particular enemy to fight a couple of other ones. And I turn around and it's like a key character has died. Mission failure. And I was like, I did not know that was even possible.
Well, we went down a stairwell and we're surrounded by like 3 guys. So I'm just gonna shoot around her real quick. Oh, she got hit in the burst. So
yeah,
that did not go as planned.
No. Also, in Sand Traps, as you exit those tunnels and you get to the next like little village or little the lighthouse section, you get told by a guy that you can park the buggy, and you don't need that anymore. Michael, I haven't had the buggy since we encountered those fences back at the train yard.
So you skipped the battery puzzle.
Hell yeah, I just walked.
That's a long walk.
You know, it really wasn't that bad because I stopped and looked for the little Lambert caches.
Yeah.
So I looked for those, and it didn't really give me a lot of trouble. But yeah, I walked all of that.
That puzzle's kind of weird. So they put the first battery in like plain sight, and I can't remember where the third one is, but the second one was up on like very obscure. If like you weren't looking for like tiny rectangles, you wouldn't have been able to see. Oh, I remember what the third one was. But the second one is up really high where you're like using the gravity gun to like move things off of this like windmill, and it's around the time I finally got it, but I like yeeted it way behind me to where I had to like search for it again, going, "Oop, I didn't mean to throw it that far.
Yeah.
Where to go?" The third one was inside a car for like replacement, like a car battery, but like it wasn't where necessarily I thought it would be. I had to like flip it over to like get to it. So it took me a while. It's cool in theory, but it was overall like just a little bit annoying.
I did not feel cheated by walking this.
Okay.
Because it wasn't like bad. It was points where, in hindsight, I had my suspicions. There was multiple points where I'm like, I feel like this is probably supposed to be a faster experience, like walking towards the light at the end of the tunnel, which hides a load. Well, it doesn't hide it, but triggers a load. I was like, I'm probably supposed to have the car. But when he tells me you can leave the car here, I was like, yeah, shit, I was supposed to have the car. Really good fight at that lighthouse.
Yeah.
Really cool section because you can go throughout the buildings to fight. When you get to the lighthouse, there's all these weapon caches throughout the lighthouse that trigger you grabbing rockets and shooting from the top of the lighthouse. You know, moments where you're using the pulse carbine to fire down at troops that are coming in, and then switching to the rockets to shoot at the gunships.
It's a very good fight.
It's a great combat sequence. When they do these big combat sequences, they're usually pretty damn good. This triggers kind of are, I guess, the next platforming section after this.
Where you have to make your way across, like, the sand traps. But this...
Yeah, literally the sand.
Yeah,
but you're trying not to trigger the antlions.
This bit was, like, hilarious and terrifying just because the minute you step foot, you just hear that sound, and then all of a sudden, like, 10 of these things will just crawl up in the sand and charge at you. It both triggered, like, but also a laugh from me every single time.
I really
Did I mess it
enjoyed.
up?
I enjoyed this part.
Oh yeah.
Like the concept of getting across the sand. Like there was times where I would pick up an item and do like a stair stepping strategy. Like I'd stand on a pallet and pick up something else I can stand on and turn it and put it in front of me. Hop on that, pick up the pallet.
Like literally,
turn and put
literally,
it down.
that did that too. Like leapfrogging,
Yeah.
basically, to get to the.
It was
other
really,
side.
I really enjoy this section. And then what I like about it is it doesn't, the antlions are, in my opinion, the least interesting enemy to fight. I do not like the boss version of them either, because it's just a bullet sponge.
The like
Queen.
rhino bug.
Yeah,
thing.
like the queen of the antlion. Something you would see
There
in
was-
Star Trek.
There was
Troopers.
one fight with it that I liked up in, I believe,
Nova Prospect?
yeah.
Yeah, that one's a little bit better, but
Like we're gonna fight because there's much more of an arena versus like a closed like passageway, pretty much, because you're like in a little canyon.
yeah, the first
That's
fight
amazing,
that
yeah.
you get to him, or the antlion queen or whatever she is, it's very tight. You just kind of empty all your weapons at her. There's also a turret that's helping you, so you take it down pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
And it just is an excuse to give you what is pretty much your last weapon. And I forgot how front loaded the weapons are in this game.
I had a feeling they were because I believe I said in part 1, I was like, you have so many weapons. I had a feeling, I was like, you're probably going to get some in-game weapon
I was
that
when you
absolutely wrecks. So.
Yeah, when you said that, I was thinking of the powered up gravity gun.
Yeah.
But I was really thinking, I was thinking there was at least one more. But no, in reality, you just get this and the powered up gravity gun at the end, and that's it.
The little, like, is it like an egg? What's like an egg sac almost?
It's like an egg sac, like a pheromone.
Yeah.
Basically, that allows you to control the antlions.
And this part was fun. I liked
Yeah.
using them.
I like the fact also that we get the Vertigon camp there, and we get trained on this weapon before we launch our assault on Nova Prospect.
There's a little tutorial. They have like little cardboard like cutout things.
Yeah.
For you to like throw it at. I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah, it's fun. This is a really good sequence. I love the assault on Nova Prospect.
And like,
It's like a Half-Life 2 version of D-Day, because you've got the antlions with you. You're fighting through carbine bunkers and weapon emplacements.
and just getting there too feels like a journey because when you start this chapter, it is like sunlight, and as you're like moving through, it's just getting progressively darker. Like you start out at sunset whenever you're charging the the turret bunkers, and as you like move past them and like going from cover to cover, it's just getting progressively darker.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's on a timer. I think it's tied to your position, but the way they pull that off is like really cool. I really want to see.
It's very good.
I really want to see how they do that. I want to watch like a video on how they broke down the tech for just how they did the like lighting in this game.
I would probably bet that this game has a really cool feature, and I wish I would have played through it, but I didn't want to be. It would have added a lot of time to my playthrough.
They had the director's
commentary.
Yeah.
I have played through this episode 1 and episode 2 at one point in my life with the director's commentary, and it is great. It has basically little points throughout the game you just walk up to and trigger.
Yeah, Portal had that too.
Yeah,
I played with Portal,
Portal the same way. Where you can trigger it, and they'll do. Most of the time, it's just the developers talking over as you can continue to play. But there is times when they will pull the camera away from you and show you like I remember in particular one that takes place during episode 2, and they show an alternate version of the attack, and they tell you why they didn't do that attack. So I believe in the game shipping version, the enemies come in through entryways up above onto like a platform. But in the original version, the enemies were breaking through the glass on ropes. And they explain why they didn't do it due to all sorts of different reasons.
I need to check that out. That sounds
very,
really cool.
very cool. It would have added a lot of time to my playthrough.
Yeah.
And because we play these things on kind of time sensitive, I didn't get to. But I highly suggest it. If you get a chance playing through the game on director's commentary, it's very, very, very worth it.
At least just this future, I would love to do Ravenholm at least.
Yeah,
Ravenholm
would be
and this through Nova Prospect. Everything else I can kind of see kind of what they were doing that. I'm sure there's like a lot of stuff going on like under the hood and everything, but like those two sections, I'm like, are probably the most groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And like defining, because like we talked about last time, every single shooter campaign ripped off this entire game, and you can see pieces that are in still permeating today, specifically Ravenholm and the powered up weapon at the end are two things that immediately jump out at me.
Exactly. I mean, they've become almost like,
where's your Ravenholm section?
Yeah. Where's the part where we do a horror section? You think about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign, and you think, Eric, Call of Duty is very far from this. No, there's a section in that campaign in which an EMP goes off, and it wipes out all the power in DC. And it's more intense, not horror, but more, you're moving through the streets in the pitch dark, and none of your equipment works right.
It's a sense of depowerment that goes on. Yeah,
and you're running into enemies who are like, stumbling through the dark. And it's like a section where we take everything from 11 down to 6 and calm things down so we can get back up. That's a Ravenholm section for that game. It's where we take you from, we've been ramping up, now we drop back down to a more slower paced environment, and then we ramp back up again. Nova Prospect, on the outside is great when you're using the antlions and you're fighting through the trenches and fighting guard towers. When you get inside Nova Prospect, there's a couple of things that are very dated here. One is the very obvious points in which enemies attack from, because they always attack from a wall that is a barricade that they can pass through and you cannot.
Yep.
It's just a visual version of an invisible wall. And I didn't really realize how much of that was so obvious until this playthrough. I like Nova Prospect a lot. The environment's very interesting. There's a lot of really cool platforming inside the particular room that's like filled with like water that's being electrified that you have to work your way across and things like that. There's a lot of using the trope of holding out to defend a position until something happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the Destiny 2 door opening.
Exactly.
Is what I was thinking.
Lots of use, and that's when they teach you to use the turrets. To block off things.
There was one really cool like story section here. There's a bit where you're like flipping through cameras, and then you like see this is at the beginning when you walk in. You're like flipping through cameras to see what the damage is in Nova Prospect. Then you see G-Man appear.
Yeah. As
he's just like walking through, and it's a literal blink if you miss it thing, which has me wondering. It's like, did I miss him at other points in this campaign?
I believe, and it's been a while since I've been super ingrained in all that stuff. I believe he is spottable in other locations.
That's really cool. Nova Prospect is interesting because it is a change of pace that happens through the rest of the campaign. Because you're never really... We talked about how a lot of throughout the first half especially, it's larger areas that like go and merge into like smaller, tighter sections. And there's like a wave system that's happening. From this point forward, we're all... There's never like that big open like stretch again. You're never in a vehicle again for the rest of the campaign. It's always like mostly tight corridor focused stuff. There's some kind of more open stuff in the Battle of City 17, but that's still just like mostly just pushing you through sections.
It definitely becomes a lot more linear.
Yeah, I mean the whole
it doesn't
game hide. It doesn't hide its linearity as well.
The whole
as,
game
the first
is linear.
Yeah,
but linear. Yeah.
Not to say that's a bad thing. It's just a different.
It hides it better in the first half. In the second half, it's pushing you down hallways.
But at the same time, this is a lot more. This is where the action is like has really ramped up in the second half because again, you have your entire like weapon arsenal. So the gameplay doesn't as there's a lot less of a focus on puzzles throughout the second half of the game.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah. And also, I would say the AI is pretty good for the time, but I think that in these kind of sections when you're having friendly AI and enemy AI and keeping it very tight probably helps them keep things from breaking down too much. No, I think Nova Prospect. Nova Prospect is an area that I really, really enjoy. My memory of it's a little bit better than what I remembered, what I experienced here, just because there was lots of sections of holding out zones, usually for Alex to do something for you.
That's more in the
and there's some
next,
good ones.
Yeah.
There's a good one in a section in which you're in a cell block. It's like an H, so you can only use the turrets to defend two directions. And you have to defend. That one's a good one. There's a good one at the end of the Nova Prospect, but then there's a couple of them that are just kind of there.
Is it because Nova Prospect takes basically 2.5 chapters in its own? It is all of the Nova Prospect chapter, all of Entanglement, and the last bit of Sand Trap. So Nova Prospect's like probably the biggest chunk of the game.
Yeah.
I would say for most of the game, you're in Nova Prospect. Well, yeah, for the largest portion of gameplay, you're in Nova Prospect, I should say. But
there's a lot of good stuff here, but like I said, I feel like there's a couple of things that really drag it with the defending positions. Story-wise, we're obviously here to rescue Eli. We meet up with Alex here, as promised earlier in the campaign that she was going to meet us here.
Oh, so happy to see her, because you get through the trash compactor bit and you walk through it, and then you see Alex and you're like, oh, familiar face, because it's been so long at this point.
I think Alex, even here, I think she becomes fully formed in episode 1. But even here, Alex is, in my opinion, the strongest character of the cast.
Absolutely.
She's the most interesting.
I do like Barney, though, but
Barney's great Barney is great for what he is, yeah.
I'm not looking for, like, deep character moments with Barney. He's your combat bro.
Yeah, he's your brother. He's your bro. He's here to help you out and help take down the City 17 and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
While looking for Eli, we discover that Judith is a betrayer.
How dare she?
She's betrayed us to the Combine.
It's also worth noting that Alex's dad, is trapped in a contraption that looks like the doors from Monsters, Inc.
Yeah,
they're like lining the walls and everything, and they're like on like tracks and everything.
Especially in the later section coming up, it reminded me of that. Where I was like, "This is a Monster Inc."
It's not just me who thought that. Okay.
No, it's very much.
Also, Alex mentioned something here that the Vorgonts can send info back to your allies. Are they like telepathic creatures?
I want to say yes.
Or are they using like physical equipment?
I want to say that they have some telepathy. I would have to refresh my memory on them, but they are kind of like your they're like your kind of they have like some telepathy. I think they have some like hive mind stuff going on.
Okay, because I believe she said like that makes sense because she says like they went in first and that's how they knew like bad stuff was going on at like Nova Prospect.
One thing I like about the Vortigons is that they are very much like almost like the most efficient like members of the Resistance.
Yep.
Like they're the one because they have the ability to shoot lightning from their hands and they're super intelligent and it's like.
Well, you said these were like the threats from the first game.
Well, they were enemies in the first game. Like I said, I forget what game it is, and it's like there's a line that's like, G-Man says that their only memory of the when they first meet you, their only memory of you is coming down a hallway with a crowbar. Like he's, he makes a line, and that might be something from. It might be something from the fan made game Follow the Free or Hunt the Freeman. Oh, so it might be something from that.
It's crazy how like this one game taken on its own is so different than what the community made it out to be. And I'm not just trying to say the community makes it seem like it's better than it is because I'm not saying that at all because this game is. I don't want to undersell how great this game is because this is a really great first-person shooter. This is probably like one of the earlier examples of a fantastic, as I said, 10-hour first-person shooter campaign.
No, yeah.
That, just like the straight-up linear action game. Because you had stuff like before then, like your System Shock 2s and Deus Ex, but those were more RPG shooters than actual like straight-up first-person shooter action game.
I think that Half-Life 2 holds up on the gameplay side of things and the environments and stuff like that. Its story has been greatly improved over time. With things like Episode 1, Episode 2, with things like the fan connections between Portal, the community, and then things that are hinted at help grow Half-Life's story compared to what's actually in Half-Life 2.
The structure of this game is absolutely groundbreaking. The story is a video game story from like 2004.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And I don't want to like
No.
undersell this game like at all.
No,
but yeah,
it doesn't hold up the same. It doesn't hit the peaks that it will hit.
and I'm sure maybe on reflection of after playing like episode 1 and episode 2, going back and be like, there's a lot of stuff here. But also, I don't have the connection to Half-Life 1, so I don't know how that.
I
of
went
that.
back and refreshed my memory on Half-Life 1 because it's been a very long time since I played it. And Half-Life 1 is very similar to Half-Life 2 story-wise.
Okay.
It doesn't have a ton.
Gordon Freeman, it's good to see you. We're going to go to this place now.
It's a lot
where
of...
you read another person like, Gordon Freeman, it's good to see you.
It's a lot of, dealing with immediate threats because you're dealing with the Marines.
Also, the whole
dealing
thing
with-
is like you're in one location that's like overrun that you have to like...
It does do the traveling, because
Okay.
you do leave Black Mesa.
Okay, I thought
You
it was
go
more like
to-
a Doom thing where you're like one facility.
There is a possible jumping the shark moment in Half-Life when you go to Zen, which is the alien.
Well, in Doom you go to hell, so same.
Yeah, but hell is cool in Doom.
Oh, no.
Like you want to fight about that? I mean,
I'm not gonna.
man, you
I'm not-
talking shit about Doom.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna talk bad about hell.
Can we cut to like a
This is not
sound?
this-
Can we cut a sound effect of me jumping across the table, attacking you?
No, I'm not. I'm not dissing hell. Hell is great. Take that out of context.
Take that out. I will say, there's not a bad hell level in any Doom game. Even Doom 3's version of hell is pretty cool.
It's short, but
Yeah, it's short,
yeah.
but it's cool. You got to fight through Hell Knights. It was cool because it was the first time we ever got to play through it. It's not like Doom 2016's version of Hell or Doom Eternal, which is like dead titans in the background and giant demons walking across the, yeah. Doom, I'll fight you over Doom, man.
you got
Cuts to
really
that-
defensive really
cuts to the
fast.
sound
I complimented Doom, and you're like, you didn't compliment it enough. I will come across this table. How dare you say it's good?
Just cut to me like jumping across the table and that sound effect of like, yes. They ended the podcast on Eric attacking Michael. No, but Zen is not like that. Zen is not nearly as good.
Okay.
Very bad platforming. Which the platforming is not great in Half-Life 2, but it's better. All the stuff in this leads up to us escaping after getting Eli out, basically using some teleporter stuff, shenanigans. But I will say this, there was one particular scene that I really, really want to talk about that I love. There was a sequence in which you're going down into like a tunnel system in Nova Prospect. It's very, very dark. You got your flashlight on. And all of a sudden the lights get killed. Mm-hmm. And they boo, 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 boo. That like multiple stages. And you hear Combine soldiers like talking. And then they shoot out flares. So I didn't.
Oh yeah, that part was so good.
It's so good because you're entering the thing, and like you, I don't think I had my flashlight on because it was pretty bright, and all of a sudden you hear do 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 do, and it's completely dark, and you hear the of the flares coming out, and they attack you.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool moment because you're fighting in just the flare light.
I didn't realize there were flares at there, so I thought those were the like lights because they very similar in light as like the grenades that appear.
Yeah.
So I thought those were grenades at first, so I tried to like use my gravity gun to like pick it up and throw it back, and that didn't work. I'm like, okay, these aren't going to explode.
Yeah, but it's such a cool moment, and they do a lot of that stuff where they try to show the Combine is competent in attacks, where they're like using tactics instead of just charging out of doors.
They are probably the most effective ground force in any video game, I would say, because they are from the beginning of the game to the end of the game a threat. There's not a point where the Combine is like weak.
They always show them using tactics, and they have to fake it a lot, but they do a great job in faking it with stuff like the fact that they are. Like, they're roping in Viva helicopters. They're bringing in helicopters that drop mines.
I mean,
they're deploying turrets.
It would also break the narrative if, like, these guys took the Earth in 7 hours, and if they were just, like, running, like, in place, getting stuck on a door, that would be, like...
No!
Yeah,
like, they're shown, and then the sequence, spoiler for ahead, but there's a sequence in which we see inside like the tower, they have like these mass manufacturing facilities to develop weapons. They're extremely capable troops, and you can kind of believe that they are capable of taking down the Ward in 7 hours. And that makes it even more impressive that Gordon Freeman is able to survive all of this, you know? It builds the legacy of Gordon Freeman. So when you get to stuff like Follow Freeman, it makes sense because he's the one who's surviving all of this stuff. I just really want to draw some attention to that. Obviously, we rescue Eli, and, we try to rescue Eli. Judith betrays us again because Alex somehow doesn't watch her very closely.
They escape.
She teleports with Eli away
through unknown coordinates, and then we have to do
another holdout section,
which is cool because I like this part a lot because they're coming in through like multiple directions. You're setting up turrets and everything. Like it's very similar to like the H block prison fight, but I like the way this section plays out.
It's a little bit better. Also, I like that the one thing I like about the Combine is they will try to like flank turrets, and then they'll run up and they'll knock them over with their like fists.
Yeah.
So like there is some strategy, and they tend to throw grenades at turrets, so they which to knock them over. So like I feel like
that's where I learned that tactic from because like that's a good way to
I feel like the
over,
Combine even with the turrets there is some times where they just charge them, but I feel like you have to do some of that to make the turrets useful. But they feel like they are actively trying to stop the turret. They're not just standing there shooting at you while the turret tears them apart.
I like using the gravity gun to just lift the turret, and then I just got it in front of me, just like mowing down dudes. That's
there was
a lot of fun.
A section in which I was able to use the gravity gun and like put the turret on one side of the wall and me stand on the other side. So I was not going to be hit by anything, but the turret's able to fire, so that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Physics, man. Physics. They're almost like they're showing off an engine.
This game's got a lot of them. I do like when the turrets tip over, they just go crazy.
Yeah, they shoot. And they can still hit stuff.
Yeah, that's like, they do that in Portal as well.
Yeah.
Turrets aren't as cute here.
Yeah, they're not as fun as they are in Portal.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, put me down. No. We teleport with Alex to Dr. Kleinel's lab.
Except...
Kleinel?
Yeah, that's
Kleiner.
Kleiner.
Dr. Kleinel's lab. Except we show up like, hey, it worked great. And he's like, dude, you've been gone for a week.
That was the slowest teleportation ever.
And while in our absence, shit's kicked off.
Oh yeah, we're at war now.
This starts chapter Anti-Citizen 1, I believe. Or Anti-Citizen.
Oh, but before that, Dog returns.
Oh yeah, Dog is back.
All caps for me, Dog.
Yeah, Anti-Citizen 1 is the name of this chapter.
Which if I read these notes before I played the game, like if I somehow teleported my notes back in time, I'd be like, there's a dog in this game? Sweet.
I really... Anti-Citizen 1 has some high points, but boy, let's talk about the elephant in the room on this one.
We gotta talk about them.
Let's talk about some good things about Anti-Citizen 1. There are some cool moments with Dog.
Dog's murdering these fools.
Dog is unstoppable.
I'm like, can this just be the rest of the game? Me walking and seeing Dog just like...
There's a sequence when you walk out into like a crossroads and Dog just handles business. He's throwing APCs around. Yeah, he's cool. We meet a bunch of resistance fighters that will follow you as allies.
Who are all super freaking happy to see Gordon Freeman.
He's a messiah figure.
They're so excited.
Yeah, Freeman is a messiah figure in Half-Life. There's cool moments where you come out into the square that you walked out into in the beginning of the game, and they're pulling down the speakers and the video screens. It's very cool, but boy, they give you these allies to hopefully make it feel more like a big war and give you help.
Republic Commando, this is not.
This is not Republic Commando. Which, if you'd like to go back and listen to our show, Republic Commando, that was from last season.
Not judge, yeah.
It's a one-shot. You can listen to the whole game's conversation in one game, one top conversation. I believe it's a one-shot.
Yeah, it's a one-shot.
It's a one-shot. Had to double-check with Michael. These guys have collision, which means that... You know how we talked about the Combine are pretty dangerous enemies? Now, imagine an enemy group that throws a lot of grenades, and then we're getting the Special Forces Combine now, who shoot the alternate fire of the pulse rifle. It's a pretty dangerous attack. Well, imagine a grenade landing at your feet and trying to turn and get through a doorway to escape, and instead running into a collision-based character that's just standing there shooting at the wall.
Here's some ammo, Mr. Freeman.
As I get blown up. They're more hindrance than they are a help. They will kill small. Man, they'll fuck up head crabs. Couple of head crabs, they'll have 5 of them just emptying magazines.
But if you have one little robotic turret, it'll wipe out the whole squad.
The bladed turrets will kill every single one of your allies. They'll just chew them through. They're just dead.
I just watched them all go, and they're just running around in circles, like shooting at the sky. It's a problem.
My favorite thing about this whole chapter is at one point there's the mines, and it teaches you how to pick up the mines and use them.
Yeah.
And the first thing one of my guys did was run over and trickle him. I was like, son of a bitch.
I posted a clip on the TikTok, which now has about 500 views. I believe I shared it with you, Eric. It was me, like, they were guarding the door while I was charging up my suit. I turn around, there's a combine right there who shoots me in the face with a shotgun. As they're all just standing by the door, like, well, we thought he was one of us.
There's a point in which the game gives them rocket launchers. And the shenanigans that takes place.
It's more hilarious than, like, straight up annoying, because not having them doesn't put you at a disadvantage. In fact, it's probably better not to have them.
I killed a couple of them a couple of times. One time
One or two is fine. When you have all 3, it's a problem because you can't go anywhere.
I turned one time running from a grenade, and one was right in my way. So I revolvered him in the head to get out of the way. It's like, I'm sorry, it's me or you, and I'm Freeman. Bam.
The medics will patch you up like they're waiters starving through tips at a restaurant who just want to fill your drink after you take 2 sips.
You'll be at 98 health, and they're like, here's a health pack, Mr. Freeman. It's like, could you wait until I was at like 20? But there was one time I got screwed up. I think a turret hit me really rough. And there was a medic in my group. I'm standing in front of him, like, bumping him. Like, come on, do the thing. Hitting B, trying to get him to do something. Not once did that fool give me a med pack.
Here's some ammo, Mr. Freeman.
I'm like, I need a med kit. Come on, man. This whole section, there's not a ton to talk about here.
If this is the worst thing the game does, this is a pretty damn good video game.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff here. We meet up with Alex again. There's a confusing section which I found out that you can use the gravity gun through glass.
I did not realize it. Oh, wait.
You have to
you have to...
I never tried to use it through a surface. So I was kind of confused, and they give you a bunch of grenades there. So I was trying to bounce a grenade off of the wall to blow the door's little hinge thing off.
Yeah.
And instead, you just use the gravity gun through the glass.
Oh,
well, I found that really weird.
Because this is where you're knocking the plug off of it, right?
Yeah.
I did that a different way.
How do you
So
do that?
I think I tried to do that, and it just didn't register working for me. So I grabbed there was an open door leading to it. I grabbed a barrel from the other side and threw it in there, and it just knocked it off the wall.
Oh, that's cool. I wish I would have tried something like that. I tried to bounce the grenades off the wall to blow it off.
Oh, gotcha.
And it worked. So I eventually just picked up a gravity gun and looked through the glass, and I was able to pick it up and move it. And
That's
drop
much
it.
more easier than what I did just throwing the barrel. And
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
not
that
nearly-
worked. I was like,
not-
cool solution.
Not nearly as cool.
The battle theme here sounds like it reminded me of like the Powerpuff Girls theme. That
Yeah. There's some good music. It's not used enough.
Yeah.
I got killed by a bridge here.
How'd that happen?
There's a section in which the resistance drops a bridge for you.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I was standing there, and the bridge came dropping down as I was shooting at an enemy, and the bridge hit me on the head and instantly killed me. Yeah, there was a couple of stuff here.
There's a bit here too. Isn't this where you are going through like these last few chapters kind of bleed together for me a little bit? But there's like you're going up like near like it's almost like a construction site thing where there's like a lot of ladders and a lot of railways leading like across each other, so where there's a carbine shooting from like all directions.
Yeah, I will say the battles get very epic here.
Oh yeah, they do.
There's lots of fights across streets. This feels like an open rebellion. Like it feels very cool.
The scale of this for like 2004 is like really great. Yeah.
The sequences when you're helping Barney, you're trying to like get Barney from the snipers, and you're like throwing grenades across the street into buildings. Sections. There's a particular when you get to the Striders.
Oh yeah, those
the big walkers.
they take 7 rockets.
7 rockets.
I was like 5 will do the trick, and I'm like, oh no, not did I miss? And then you
and
realize
we can
it's
kind
7.
of jump to that because
Yeah.
there's some but the sequence which you're dealing with the Striders and you're dealing with the main like the hub of the entire operation here, which is the old museum. It's a cool sequence. You're rolling grenades into turrets. You're doing stealth over security lines. It's a really cool room. But my favorite part is when you come out and you get your rocket launcher and you have to deal with these Striders in the plaza. And these things demolish everything. And you and all the resistance guys are shooting rockets up at it. And it's a cool moment to sprint around and try to get rockets and refresh your stuff. It's
I died a lot here.
No, there's a couple of times. I mean, there's some tough fights.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember getting to one of the bunkers and it'll blow the bunker up.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a really, really good section. That leads to a really good section in which you're fighting above. You have to walk your way to a top of a building to get to a rocket case to destroy some Striders there. The only problem with that one is it didn't give you good direction on where to go next. And
It really didn't. Yeah.
I wandered around for a good 10 minutes before I realized how to get out of that.
I was just shooting down Striders, and I thought like, I need to destroy them all before I advance. So because of that, I was stuck on this one, trying to kill all the Striders for about like 20 minutes or so, because it would just keep
I killed them all.
killing me. So I killed them all, and then I wait around like going, where am I supposed to go? And then eventually another one respawned, and
Oh,
that
really?
one killed me. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they respawned.
It was just like, I believe it was like just one later that like respawned. I was like, oh, did I miss him or something? And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to go through like this little alcove here.
There's a
Because
couple
the portal's down. Oh, okay, that's where I need to
There's
go.
a couple of times in Anti-Citizen 1 and Follow Freeman that it doesn't do a great job of directing you to where you need to be.
Some of the highlights, going back, some of the highlights in this chapter for me, there's a really cool bit where there's 2 snipers down 2 different alleyways. So you got to figure out which way to go while like bobbing and weaving back and forth through cover to try to avoid the sniper fire.
Yeah, there's some great stuff here.
Yeah, there's a lot of like individualized like moments. Plus Barney's with you the whole time at a certain point, which is pretty great.
Yeah, there's a ton of really, really solid stuff here. You talk about the sniper section. That was really cool because you kind of dodge between cover places.
Mm-hmm.
You have that like sprint across the way, have a shot hit the wall, sprint across the other way, have a shot hit the wall. This section does like a big war better than a lot of first-person shooters at the time that were like completely dedicated to trying to show you a big war.
I was gonna say this does better than games that come out afterwards. I think about the battle at like near the end of Assassin's Creed 3, like the big American Revolution.
Yeah, it doesn't feel nearly as like epic and chaotic as this does.
No, it does not.
Great stuff. Like I said, you're working with Barney. You're meeting up with Alex until Alex is grabbed by the Combine in a moment in which you're like looking up at her from the floor and see her get knocked out and dragged away, and you're like, no. And like I said, there's all these allies running around. You're coming into section where there's allies who are injured and people are walking on them. You feel like this is a massive war and there's things happening outside of just what you're doing.
There's like an organized battle, like a siege at like the Citadel point here.
Yeah, the Citadel point is like the objective. Barney's kind of like the head guy in charge of like the ground forces.
You're the main muscle, of course.
You're the Messiah figure, but Barney's the guy who's been kind of leading this for the past week.
I mean, he can speak, so he has to be.
They can all speak, but they just say things like "Follow Freeman."
I mean, Freeman, man of very few words.
Yeah, Freeman don't need talk. Also, I always think it's so funny if you picture Gordon Freeman in these situations, because Gordon Freeman's just a dude with a goatee.
It was like Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, he's not like exactly badass of the year. I've seen some fan art of Gordon Freeman that's tried to make him look like a badass, and it's always just lamer than him looking like he normally does. Great stuff here, though, with this whole section. I love this section. I think it's a great playing section. There's not a lot of story to talk about, But like a gameplay moments is great. Like the sections in which you're fighting through burning buildings and dealing with zombies on fire. Like you feel like the Combine is busting out everything they have because those gunships going overhead.
Like this is their last stand, pretty much.
Bringing out the Striders, they're dropping the head crab bombs on targets. Like you feel like this is the Combine.
They're scared.
This is the first legit threat the Combine has had since they've won the war, and it really does hit those points where like, hey man, this is a war and there's fights all over the city, and what's going on. You come across people who are like just like mentally broken by the fighting, like people just like I can't do this anymore. Like it's a really big epic moment. You of course work your way into the tower itself. This is done in kind of a, what's the best way to put this? This is the strip you away of all your weapons and give you the power weapon moment, correct?
Yeah.
Like this is, we know that we're about to give you the game breaking weapon. Like if you had this the whole time, it would just wreck the balance of the game. But this is the section in which we need you to feel powerful.
This is the section that we talk about how what is ripped off from this game for other games. I can point to several moments in several first-person shooter campaigns. This is the end of like Titanfall 2.
Yeah, when you get the smart gun.
The sear kit.
Yeah, and you get when you're just, man, goddamn, Titanfall 2 so good.
One-shotting dudes.
You're just walking on walls, and the gun's pointing itself for you, and and there's 4 guys down, This is the Doom 2016 giving you the BFG.
Where just line up a room full of dudes. Just read it.
Doom Eternal with the BFG becomes a resource because that game is all about bouncing between resources. In Doom 2016, it's the moment when you get the BFG and you walk out into the big room with 40 enemies in it. You just and everything dies. It's that cool moment. It strips you of your guns, but it gives you, it works as a story point of view too, because it's like a security system designed to strip you of weapons, so you can't bring anything in there to kill anybody with. But the gravity gun
doesn't recognize
as a weapon, and instead it just powers the gravity gun up. So now the gravity gun will allow you to actually physically grab people and shoot people back at stuff.
And it's so much fun.
It's a great sequence when you are fighting your way through the tower. All the while, you have your turncoat, whose name just left my head. What is the name of our doctor that's...
Dr. Breen?
Breen, yeah. The turncoat that's, he's been the pawn of the Combine. And as he's trying to reason with you, you're just wrecking shit.
You can, there's moments where, the audio cut off for me just because I was playing Freeman as pissed off, so I was just ripping all of his video monitors off the wall.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where the subtitles was still going, even though I couldn't hear him anymore. Because I was like, oh, I broke it. Whoops.
That was a great sequence in here. There's a couple of sequences you ride a rail to get you around the facility. Mm-hmm. They're a little bit long-winded. They're cool.
The last one in particular is just
I get it.
Yeah. Goes on for twice as long as it really needs to.
Yeah.
I get it's showing you around, but the first time you ride it, you get a sense of the scale of this place. We don't need
I don't need 2 more.
Exactly.
Yeah. You get to see the Striders being manufactured and the gunships and the Combine troops all scrambling.
And this is where prisoners are straight up executed because there's a second path that goes that just electrocutes them.
Yeah.
I did that path just to see what happened and I died. It was the Michael Bluth take the dove out of the fridge. I don't know what I expected.
But it's that time you just want to see what happens. Also, you see that they're turning humans into servitors, which is a very Warhammer thing to do. It's just need something to fix all these consoles. Let's make a human, lobotomize it. This section is really, really good. My favorite section is towards the end in which you fight across this bridge and there's a straight up Stridel there trying to block the bridge. and you grab one of the energy balls that runs like the power of the place, and you just shoot it into the Strider to blow the Strider up.
That's so cool.
It just, you're right. It feels like that big pissed off Freeman. I'm sick and tired of all these motherfucking carbine on this motherfucking tower.
It's the biggest power fantasy in this game since the crane section where you can just pick up.
Where you just smacking carbine with a crane. And like I said, grabbing the guys from like a ledge and throwing them off the ledge.
As you're like going up the elevator, and there's people just shooting you from like the balconies. You can just grab one of the dudes and then throw him at his buddy right beside him.
Or grabbing them and shooting them into like the pylons that electrocute them. Like it just feels so. It feels like that moment where it's just like you have crossed the line, motherfucker. It's over.
They're using the charge shot from the pulse rifle, and you can just grab it and then throw it back at them. There's an achievement for that.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, and because it feels like the Combine are literally throwing everything they have at you, and it's not working. And as you like ascend the tower, you see the gunships being taken off. Like you really feel like the Combine are panicking. Like this is going bad for them.
This one guy is unstoppable.
When you get up there, he is talking to what looks to be like the Combine leadership. Basically saying, you got to get me out of here, If you can't stop this Freeman guy, we got to get out of here. You do kind of like submit yourself to one of the gondola ride, things, which takes you to his office. And this is the big bad guy speech where he's basically trying to convince Freeman to side with him.
No. I'm the one in control here.
Yeah,
nothing
good.
Right.
Nothing bad will happen. We're trying to... The Combine is the best solution for humanity. We can go visit new wards and new realities. Trust me on this. As a scientist, you should want this.
He doesn't realize that he's like the obvious pawn that he is. He thinks like he actually has some say in what the Carbine's doing.
I kind of think he actually buys his bullshit.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely.
Like, I think in his mind, he feels like he has a say in the Combine.
I mean, he
does not understand that they are just using him.
He has his own office in a tower. His speeches are like broadcast throughout the city. He's like, I own this city. I have some say here. I was like,
You are just
nothing.
You are just a human face.
You're like a guy who owns 2% in market share and be like, I can change this entire company.
Exactly. You're just a human face for the Combine to have in front of the people. Like, no one is actually believing that you're in control of anything. It's a great sequence, though, when you are talking to him and you are like there's a sequence where he honestly thinks he can, like, tarn you. And, of course, Gordon's not going to fall for that shit. But also Judith, who is the traitor there, right? She won't even... She has enough, and she betrays him because she doesn't want him to kill Eli or Al. She's like the traitor who doesn't understand, like, what she's even, like, fully signed up to do. Mm-hmm. Like, she's a little bit jumping back and forth. But it's like she honestly thinks like there's no way to beat the Combine. So she's like trying to find the best way to do a soft landing for herself and the people she cares about.
She's trying to go through this situation in like the path of least resistance, I would say.
Yeah, well, like I could see, and almost she's right in some ways. Without Freeman, they probably wouldn't actually stand a chance against the Combine. But she doesn't understand that Gordon Freeman is here to turn the tides, and she's trying she's trying to do a soft landing. Like she's even trying to convince Eli, like, Eli, we can kind of work together and we can end this fight and we maybe stop the bloodshed. She's letting her self-preservation take over her ideals. She's not willing to actually stand up for what she believes in until she hits this moment in which she betrays him and lets you out. I like the section because he picks up the gravity gun and uses it at one time, but then is dumb enough to leave it sitting there. And so it's like, you dummy. I might just pick this back up and chase you down.
Even the way he's holding it is like not in front of him. He just like holds it at the side, and even like
it's like heavy to him. He looks like it's hard for him to pick it up.
I think even Alex says he doesn't know what that thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what that thing is capable
Well,
of.
the Combine, when they bring it
You
to
think
him,
you would watch the video modders if you entered the place and wrecking fools with that thing?
Well, like the Combine, when they bring it to him, he's just like, put it on the desk. I'm like, you just put the most powerful weapon in the game on the desk.
Did you not see what this man was doing not 5 minutes before?
Dude, I just killed a whole platoon with this thing. Like,
He did it didn't click in his head going like, maybe this thing is more powerful than I realized.
he's just arrogant.
Yeah,
He's
true.
arrogant. He buys his bullshit. And this leads to a cool chase sequence. We're chasing him up the tower. He's trying to get to a teleportal that will allow him to teleport to basically where the Combine command is. And we obviously don't want him to do that. So it's a cool chase sequence. We fight some enemies. We climb the tower. It leads to a point on top of the tower in which we are fighting him, basically shooting things into the teleportal.
The
to
quote
bring the
unquote like
teleporter
final
down.
boss, there is gunships emerging that's like shooting at you. There's a lot of sound happening here.
It becomes almost overwhelming.
Yeah, there's some parts, especially in like the battle section, where there's like just so much sound going on at once. Because every time you kill an enemy, there's like the heart monitors going off on top of like that's where the music's ramping up. If you're using, everyone's firing like you and all your squad mates are firing assault rifles too. It's like reminds me, I had flashbacks from when we played like the first half of BioShock, when there's so much noise going on from like all of the vending machines to like the turrets happening to like just all the shouting of the splicers.
As you're playing with good headphones and the headphones are actually doing a good job of separating all the sounds, it just becomes a cluster of just too much. Yeah, I understand that. I agree. Especially when all of the squads are firing at once and the Combine are firing. It's so much just background noise. It becomes overwhelming.
It is. So this final boss here like rides that line, and you're grabbing orbs to try to time it right to throw it in to the portal.
Yeah, and basically prevent him from escaping.
To making it like unstable to where it like combusts on itself.
And this leads to basically a massive explosion of the entire tower.
Except it doesn't, because time freezes.
Time freezes and G-Man comes out.
This was cool.
This
I
was
like
a very
this a
cool.
lot.
I like the section where he makes references to things like, I've had many offers for your services, Gordon. Like you're in demand as an agent of this change that I have.
So is G-Man like his personal like agent, being like, man, since you took this role, you got so many more offerings. I'm gonna get you a spot in the Marvel universe.
I read some theories that basically that Gordon is a personal agent for him, and
okay,
and it's like a multiversal version of Gordon kind of thing going on. But spoiler for episode 1. Episode 1 follows pretty much right away in the footsteps of this event. So episode 1 takes place in City 17 after the explosion of the tower.
I figured it would. I have a feeling G-Man just doesn't want, even though like we know Alex is alive and well from this, I feel like G-Man's just
protecting his assets.
Yo, yeah,
he's not. Yeah. I think there's no like.
You're an investment.
He doesn't care about Gordon he cares what Gordon can do. He doesn't care about Gordon. He just cares about what Gordon can do. Gordon is a very effective agent for him. So he's just he steps in when he needs to make sure Gordon is not taken off the table. That's what makes Gordon so dangerous, is Gordon has a benefactor where no one else does. That when Gordon is when the shit really happens, Gordon's benefactor steps in and makes sure nothing actually happens to the asset.
He's got like the Adjustment Bureau on his side.
Yeah, it's the Adjustment Bureau. That's a good movie.
Right.
I like that movie.
No one talks about that movie a lot.
No, it's a very good movie. I like the Adjustment Bureau. Yeah, that was a good movie. I did not think about it till after this ending, how much of a setup for episode 1 this game is. I was like, boy, that kind of is an unsatisfying ending.
So it's like Gordon Freeman, like the Master Chief, was like, all right, you're back on ice. We'll call you when we need you.
No, because in episode 1 and episode 2 are directly...
Okay.
Like, Gordon is not going to wake back up 10 years from now.
Is he just being taken by the G-Man to, like, a safe spot? Or is he going to wake up... What I'm curious about, you don't have to answer this, but I'm wondering if he'll wake up at the exact moment of the explosion, or is G-Man going to be like, I'm going to move you to a location where
G-Man,
I know you're going to be safe because this explosion's probably a bad thing for you to be standing like 20
the only
feet
thing
from.
I'll say is he protects the asset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But it's not a situation where Gordon's going to wake up in a completely different time and place like he does in Half-Life 2.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, like in
he
Half-Life 1, there was a massive time jump between the end of Half-Life 1 and the beginning of Half-Life 2.
Where isn't he like his consciousness kind of riding on like autopilot until G-Man like basically just snaps his fingers and like wakes him up? It's like a hypnosis almost.
No, because he ceases to exist from time.
Oh, and then he's placed by the
Until
G-Man
Half-Life
at
2.
that moment. It's like, I need you right here, right now, in order for the events of Half-Life 2 to happen.
Hence the line, like the wrong man in the right time, place can make all the difference.
In the world.
Like, yeah, Gordon is missing post Black Mesa.
Gotcha.
And then he pops back up on that train to City 17.
Gotcha. So I didn't know if here he was going missing again. Like G-Man was like, "All right, you're done. I'll put you back where you need to be." Like it is Gordon is Gordon G-Man's way of interacting with the world. Like he can't do it himself, so he has Gordon do it.
Gordon is G-Man's like physical like tool. But I will say episode 1 does not have the same change that 2 does. It's not like he's moved to a completely different time and place. You are dealing with, at the beginning of episode 1, the immediate side effects of the events of Half-Life 2.
I do love the ending shot here where it calls back to the beginning on the train where you're in that like, you're just in a black void and like a door opens up to the side and says, "This is where I get off." Like,
yeah, I like it.
It's a cool moment. I like this ending a lot, even though I was pretty confused throughout it until we like discussed it. I still visually is very visually. It's probably story wise, this is the most visually interesting thing that happens in the entire game.
Yeah, and
from a story perspective,
I think that episode 1 and episode 2 would be something you would enjoy because it does kind of give you some more information about stuff. And it becomes a little bit better story-wise in my mind because, one, you have better character stuff with Alex.
I can't wait to be angry that there's not more of this.
But I will say this. I have a weird... And we're getting kind of in the final thoughts here. I actually believe that a voiced version of Gordon would be beneficial for Half-Life story. I think this is kind of a controversial take. I think most people like that he's mute. They like to think that it's supposed to be you. I really think that, especially in episode 1 where Alex becomes so expressive, Gordon being silent kind of lessens things. And I am not somebody who likes to always, like, I feel like stories need characters, and I like self-insert characters only good if this character is not supposed to be more than just a blank slate. Like, you have the Doom guy, right?
Yeah.
Doom guy is straightforward. He's a pissed off guy who kills demons.
Doom guy's also
I
the
don't
main
need
character.
Doom guy to talk.
Is Alex the main character of Half-Life 2 going forward?
She's
or
the
is it Gordon?
Spotlight, but it's still Gordon.
So
Gordon still does.
So if Gordon's the main character, I think he needs a voice, which is...
To me, that's the thing about this. I feel like it would hit better if Gordon does have a voice that makes him more of a character.
I've never been really a fan of like the silent protagonist
I'm really not
either.
a silent protagonist fan.
But for some reason, like
it works sometimes, but it does not here.
Like I don't mind it with Link at all because
I think that's a different thing.
I don't know why.
I think
that's
Link
the line.
is supposed to be.
Link does have occasional dialogue trees that like pop up, like yes or no.
Yeah.
So he has ways of like interacting, or like there's pauses where there's moments of like characters go I see. So it's like implied talking.
Link is also supposed to be almost like a spirit of adventure.
No, that's true.
Well, Gordon to me, it feels very weird to have these big conversations happening and Gordon just standing there silent. Especially in the end, where people are like pleading with Gordon, like Gordon's not going to betray us, right, Gordon? And Gordon's not saying anything. It just kind of lessens the moment. I know it's kind of a controversial take. I think a lot of people in Half-Life fandom like that he's silent. I've always thought that I would like him better if he had a voice.
I don't know where I stand.
No, yeah.
I think it works.
Just a little thing.
I think it works fine here, but I imagine if there's a character directly playing off of Gordon, I would want them to have a connection through.
There's a lot of moments in Half-Life 2 and Episode 1 and 2 where Alex is dealing with like heavy emotional stuff, and to have a character really like sitting there dealing with some tough stuff, and to have someone just staring at her holding a gun, it looks like a weird disconnect to me. And I get that I'm supposed to be my emotions or Gordon's emotions, but I've always kind of felt that's a little bit of a cop-out.
Or you could have done a thing. There could have been a thing too where, like, if Gordon doesn't talk, he could just be mute, and that could just be a thing. Like, oh, I know you don't talk much, but he could have other ways of like interacting with He could have other ways of interacting with characters that don't include talking.
Yeah.
Like just having like a moment, like just like a simple like handshake or like a hug. I haven't seen you in a while, like stuff like that.
Like when Alex is dealing with these kind of tough stuff in Episode 1. If Gordon puts his hand on her shoulder. Or
yeah, like pats her on the back. Moments of like character for Gordon.
It feels very weird that he's just a stoic gun pointing at a wall. And I get
these
some
hands
of it's
in a gun. That's all I know about Gordon
Some
Freeman.
of it's time, and some of it is a big commitment to that never-breaking first person.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always felt that was not my favorite part of Gordon Freeman. It's why he's not like a protagonist that I care about. I care about Alex more than I care about him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because there's nothing really to latch on to. He's a guy with a crowbar, while Alex is the one that tells the emotion. Just a thought. Always like to bring that up.
I agree with that, yeah.
Overall feelings on Half-Life 2. First time you've ever beat Half-Life 2.
This is a really good video game.
It's a great first-person shooter.
I am impressed with how well this holds up for the time, especially since this is the blueprint for all the shooters I would like to go forward from. I joke that this makes everything retroactively worse. Because it's just like, wait a minute, you're just Half-Life 2 again.
Bioshock Infinite both kind of take a lot from this.
Infinite, I imagine, especially takes from what you told me about Half-Life episodes like 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, Alex is more of a companion character, while Elizabeth is with you almost the entire time in Infinite.
Mm-hmm. Titanfall 2 has a lot from
Titanfall
this.
2 has a lot from it.
Titanfall 2 might be this like campaign perfected, but
I would make the argument Titanfall 2 is one of the... If Half-Life 2 sets the narrative of what first-person shooter campaigns should be going forward, the next one that does that again is, in my mind, Titanfall 2.
Which is a crying shame because that game did not sell as well as it should have.
It's a shame because that's a campaign that has so many memorable moments and has so tight gameplay.
But it owes everything that it did to this game.
Yeah, but I think
it couldn't exist without this laying the groundwork first.
We don't play a ton of shooters for this show because sometimes they don't really do a great job of leading to these kind of discussions. And there's a lot of really high quality content out there that talks about shooters, mostly from a combat point of view, while we tend to spend more of our time in story and war and characters. But I love to put our toes in the first-person shooter genre every once in a while because it's my favorite genre. And Half-Life 2, to me, is if you're going to talk about great first-person shooters, you got to talk Half-Life 2.
It gives me a deeper appreciation for the genre and for like this game is incredibly well-paced. I don't think there's a section that overstays its welcome. I've heard people argue Waterworks. But even that, I thought, went on for just the right amount of time. And especially through the first half, whenever something got boring, they're like, well, now there's a gun on it. And so now that opens up different gameplay possibilities here.
Gives you the ability to fight the helicopter instead of just run from it. Waterworks is my least favorite part on replays, but I think for a first-time playthrough, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I think, there's lots of levels in shooters and stuff that I've played that have missions that on repeat playthroughs are not that great. Mm-hmm. But first-time player, I think it's fine. And it's also, at the time, it was showing off the Source engine, and a lot of that was showing off what the Source engine can do. Check out how we can make water rise and how we can adjust things by weight. Like, it was a big technical showcase.
I'm still impressed with the tech in this game.
Oh, yes. Technically wise, it's solid as hell.
Some of the puzzle, the fact that we came up with multiple solutions for the same puzzle
Yeah.
Just a simple
Using physics.
unplug the plug from the wall, and we came up with different solutions on how to do that. Is very impressive.
Yeah, it's physics are still great to this day. Does shooters to this day, those games to this day that do not do physics as well as Half-Life 2 does.
Any game I can get into a groove in where I just hit that like flow state of just like I'm just playing this game and like the world around me just leaves is that is a hard thing to like pull off. Like I think of games that do that. Or like I go back to like Titanfall. I go back to Doom that like handle that like flow state very well.
You're just in the moment.
In the
bam,
moment,
bam,
just
bam.
I've had that in, like Nova Prospect. I've had that in like the Sand Trap section too. Not so much the battle of the final battle at City 17 because there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, but
there's some good and bad there.
Yeah. A lot more like I need to focus and like pay attention versus like hitting that like that sweet spot, you know.
We talked about not taking a ton of notes for this game. It's because a lot of the game just puts you in a zen state. Mm-hmm. It's a Half-Life reference. I'm very proud of that. Just stumbled right into that. It puts you in a zen state and you don't have to think about it much.
Yeah.
It's just reacting and things make sense. So when it doesn't make sense, like a game that does pathfinding so well and hiding the path, but also giving you a clear direction of where you need to be. So when it blows it really bad. On City 17 in particular, Fall of Freeman in particular. But great game. Very glad we did it.
Me too. I could see this being a better game on replays because you can't, since you know, like... And I could see this being a lot of people's comfort game.
It's one of those games also the modding community is just insane.
I saw an article about a mod today.
Yeah.
How Crystal from the Star Fox series, they replaced Alex with her and got the voice actress who plays Crystal in Star Fox Adventures to do all of the voice lines. I'm like I'm like the fact that people are willing to do that much work for a 18-year-old game is crazy.
There's people out there, doing like there was one that I remember I saw recently that's just basically an insane amount of weapons modded into the game. So you want to play Half-Life 2 with the M1 Grand? You want to play Half-Life 2 with a PSP that shoots exploding PSP discs? There was a cinematic mod that's notorious. It's really kind of lame. It's notorious, but it's like almost a complete revamp mod. Half-Life, it's got some technical stuff that's very impressive, but it's got some other stuff that's not.
You've had Gary's mod, which is just like, we're just going to take the physics and make it a sandbox.
Yeah, just make stuff. Half-Life 2 legacy is well earned, for sure. Very, very well earned.
It feels like going back to a classic movie and just being like, yeah, this was groundbreaking.
You know what sequel is also classic and is legendary and has people to this day talking about? It's time for Metal Gear Solid 2!
Yes! The game
I just scared somebody in their headphones so bad.
The game I've wanted to do since we started this. I'm like, this is going to be a long road to get here, but I'm super happy this is the day.
Cast your mind back to 2020. We are all in lockdown. We got nothing to do, so me, Michael, and Nick start a podcast called State of the Save. And our third game for State of the Save is a 4-part playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Our first and last 4-parter.
Last 4-parter. Never again for a 4-parter. We decided to play the Metal Gear franchise in story order, not release order. So we played 3. Then last season finale, we played Metal Gear Solid. Had a ball with Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 3 was a game that me and Nick were on the fence on. We left it liking it, but it didn't sell us 100%. Metal Gear Solid sold me and Nick as Metal Gear fans, which is funny that the PlayStation release was the one that really locked us in. So we're fully committed to playing through the Metal Gear Solid storyline. Like I said, we're playing it by story, not by release. So that leads us to Metal Gear Solid 2,
Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty.
Guns of the Patriots is Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah,
okay. Sons of Liberty. I have never played Metal Gear Solid 2. Nick will be back with us to play this. He has never played Metal Gear Solid 2. Michael, this is the first Metal Gear game you played,
This is my first Metal Gear Solid.
and this is, I believe you said this is your favorite.
This is one of my favorite games of all time. Top 5, definitely. The more I play this game, the more I love it. It is prosthetic. It is a wild story and with really fun gameplay.
We are very, very excited about playing this one. Now that me and Nick have committed to be Metal Gear guys, Michael has found his way to convert us.
Took some time, but we're there.
Well, like 3, we were getting it at the end. We were getting it. But 1 is actually, like I said, the first one is the one, Metal Gear Solid is the one that fully converted us to be like, damn it, we're Metal Gear guys. So I'm very excited about this one. We will be playing this in 3 parts, correct?
Yes, 3-parter. Bless you.
Thank you.
And for like prep work, I usually go into detail going into a game about like the way a lot of the development history. But the thing is to go through why this game is groundbreaking and the development history of it would kind of may ruin some of the structure of this game.
We have to be very careful because a lot of this game,
the way it was teased was also like in mystery.
yeah.
Like,
so we don't want to. This is something that this game does that you can never do today.
yeah, exactly. But because we've played 3 first, you guys are not going to be as confused going in as people were back in 2001 when this game came out.
One of the advantages we're going to have is, one, we'll have a baseline understanding of certain things that will be, to the players of the day, were being talked about for the first time and revealed. We'll have an understanding of that. We have heard talk of things like the philosophers. We have had interactions with characters. You know, we ran into this with Metal Gear Solid. When the Ocelot that we meet in Metal Gear Solid, we met back in 3 as a young man.
We know his history. So
we know his history.
We know he has he was a triple agent back in the 60s, so we know like some of like what he's going on. It's like, okay, now he's with Liquid Snake, and then we discover at the end that he's not with Liquid Snake.
We understand that he's a guy who plays all the sides. We know more about him than the players of the day knew about.
He's a man who sees every single angle. So he's not just a man who has had one double cross. He has a history of these.
He's double crossed people so many times you don't know what side Ocelot's on.
So also going in, I kind of want to recap Ocelot's phone call at the end of Metal Gear Solid 1. Because I feel like that is a good way, a baseline of going what we know going into.
Let's recap. So also, I would highly suggest the Metal Gear Solid episodes are very, very good. Even if you don't want to go back and listen to the 4-part Metal Gear Solid 3 episodes, they're very good. But I understand if you don't want to. It's very early on in the show. I would highly suggest going back and listening to Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. Part 1 and 2 of Metal Gear Solid.
These are my favorite episodes.
Yeah, they're very good episodes. There's some really fun stuff in there. But they're also, they'll lay the groundwork for this really well.
All right, so the phone call at the end. Ocelot to the President of the United States, Solidus Snake. Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those 2 are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Fox Die should become activated soon, right on schedule. Yes, sir. I've recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. No one knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of. Yes, the inferior one was the winner after all. That's right, until the very end, Liquid thought he was the inferior one. Yes, sir, I completely agree. It takes a well-balanced individual such as yourself to rule the world. No, sir, no one knows that you are the third one, Solidus. What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir, I'll keep her under surveillance. Yes, thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
So, just to put that in context, if you did not, Fox Die is, of course, the kill switch that is inside of Snake's blood that will eventually kill him. We are told that we are the lesser clone as Solid Snake to Liquid, who we killed at the end of Metal Gear Solid 1, or we are believed to have killed. I'm always going to say believed because this is Metal Gear, it's anime as shit. Ocelot has secured the plans for Metal Gear
From
Rex.
Metal Gear, he has
He has the ability to recreate.
he has the
weapon
source
system.
code. He has the source code to Metal Gear on a hard drive.
Yeah, he can recreate this weapon
That
system.
might be a problem.
Yeah, and Ocelot is apparently knows that the president of the United States is the third clone of the Snake.
The guy we played from the first game, from the third game in the series, his clone is the president of the United States.
Who is the best of them? All of them. It's a great teaser for what we're about to see here in 2. What other information, Michael, do you want to give us before we jump into 2?
So I just some quick fun fact stuff. So I found an original document from Hideo Kojima that was sent internally to Konami about his game plan for Metal Gear Solid 2. It was translated, and this is from from January of '99. Some things I found interesting that won't go into spoilers is that this game was originally going to be titled Metal Gear Solid 3, but written as MGS3, as in 3 Roman numerals, because the 3 Roman numerals were going to symbolize the 3 tallest skyscrapers in Manhattan, the setting for the game. But he writes, instead of proceeding on to MGS2, as one might expect, we're making Metal Gear Solid 3. The question in people's minds, why is it 3 and not 2, will have a big impact. This was an early document. His team was like, you can't do that. What are you doing?
Kojima is best when there was someone to sit in the room with him and be like, no, bad idea, stop.
But what's interesting about this is Metal Gear Solid 2 was groundbreaking for another reason. It's what Hideo outlines as an orthodox sequel, meaning it takes place in the same world, and the characters and the game system will go from one game to another. Because you think about game sequels at the time, like your Final Fantasies, how each number was set in a different universe with a different continuity. And like all the Mario games, Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, there's no interconnected story or through line throughout each of those games. And if there is, it's just in the manual somewhere, so it's there if you want it. Metal Gear Solid being very story-based. Going into 2, having the same story and canon going through was a big deal.
The concept that to fully grasp Metal Gear Solid 2, you had to have played Metal Gear Solid. Because before, you can kind of jump in and out of games and, you wouldn't miss much. This is a concept that this is a direct sequel. You need to know what happened before this to fully grasp this.
So a lot of the document is actually being how do we balance a game that is directly continuing from Metal Gear Solid 1, but without shutting out players from Metal Gear Solid 2. And some of the solutions to that in the game, through what dialogue is given to you. Originally, there was going to be different dialogue depending on, because he was well, if the PlayStation 2 is backwards compatible, we can have a PlayStation 1 memory card in, and some of the dialogue can be different depending on if you played 1 or 2 to give more exposition to people who are just jumping in. Some of the ideas he laid out were very interesting. I don't know if any of them followed through, but
I will say this about Kojima. I give him a lot. I always pick at him. But I give the guy credit. He's one of the few guys who actually really sits there and thinks about not only how people are going to play the game, but how, to make the game's experience be unique and special and better than just sitting down and playing a video game. It feels so crafted. His stuff is crafted. Sometimes the ideas are questionable, but damn it, he's not just sitting there doing a playbook. He is, every time, he's willing to rewrite the rule.
This was a man who wanted to design a game that would, if you died in the game, destroy itself in the console. Because it was you get one chance, you better not mess it up.
In life, if you die, do you get to try again? No! You gotta freaking play it again.
He wanted to make a game. He wanted to make a game that was you had to be so careful. You had to play it very deliberately, otherwise you were going to die, and you had to buy a new copy just to get a chance to start the game over again. It was fascinating. Of course, that didn't get made.
But I give him credit. Like I said, he.
No one would come up with his ideas and legitimately try to pitch them.
Except Kojima. I joke about Kojima all the time, but I genuinely love the man as a designer because he he sits there and he's willing to take. He's going to put his money where his mouth is.
He's the guy who like looks at like the hardware of the console he's developing for it and be like, how can I shift this into the game? Like the memory cards in the PlayStation 1. Be like, I'm going to make a boss fight that'll read your memory card.
Because
like that. Yeah.
he's a man who I feel like he's so thoughtful in his design, and is willing to sit. Like I could see him sitting there staring at a PlayStation, with all the specs in front of him and the new features, and just going down the line, being like, what can I do here? And like the concept that it's not just switch the memory cards, but he's like, what happens if there was an enemy that reads minds? How is the best way for us to get across that he's reading your mind? Well, he's reading the games you've played, because there's a memory card right here. Like the concept that he links it. Like it's not just gimmicks for the sake of gimmicks. Like you can tell, like he's sitting there being like, how what happens if he really can read your mind? He really can make you do things you don't want to do. How can I get that across to the player? How can I, like it's so much more than just be like checklist of features. Mm-hmm. He's really crafting things. I appreciate that about the man. I give him credit. He is an artist.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty was released on November 13th, 2001 for the PlayStation 2. The Xbox version came out a year later. The PC version was released in 2003. An HD version by Bluepoint was released alongside Metal Gear Solid 3 and Peace Walker in 2011. This game is currently delisted, as of the time of this recording, currently still delisted on PC and everywhere digitally because of some raw footage that was used in the game that the license for has expired.
Some historical footage. We talked about that possibly being some of the footage that was used in MGS3. This is what we talked about, having to hunt down some copies. Michael, you found yourself a beautiful PlayStation 2 copy.
Doesn't look a year old.
Doesn't it look like it was fresh off the shelf?
Not a crease in that manual.
No,
I am so happy with the quality.
It's a beautiful copy, and you got to steal for it. I was able to snag a copy of the HD collection off of Amazon. It's still on Amazon. It's about $30.
And I've lent Nick my copy of Metal Gear Solid 2 HD.
Yeah. Me and Nick will be playing Metal Gear Solid HD. Michael will be playing the original PlayStation 2 version.
So I booted it up really quickly just to see how well this will work with component cables on HDTV, and it still looks really good for the time. But what's interesting is I forgot the PlayStation 2 had pressure sensitive buttons. So remember in Metal Gear Solid 3, in order to just draw the gun up without firing it, you had to click the left stick in. Yeah. For me, it's hold the square button halfway to draw the gun, then push it in completely to fire the gun.
Ooh.
It's just some interesting stuff there. I was like, man, is the PlayStation 2 the best way to play this thing? Because I'm like, and then it made me think of why doesn't this exist anymore? Did it just wear the buttons out quicker or something?
I imagine that it has to be something with lifespan of the controller possibly.
Because I'm like, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about the pressure sensitive face buttons on this thing.
I go through about a controller a generation. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if it was just increasing the chances that the controller was worn out. I knew I went through at least 2 PlayStation 2 controllers in its time. Mm-hmm. I've gone through at least an Xbox controller every generation.
But yeah, the cutoff point.
Playing this in 3 parts.
We were playing this in 3 parts because Eric is trying to move into a house soon.
Yeah.
So because of that, part 2 is going to be a much shorter section than the rest of the game to try to divide this up in 3 parts. This first part is probably the longest section, but again, I'm trying to divide it up between 4 and 5 hours of playtime a given section.
So part 2 might be a little shorter. To the boss fight
against a Mad Bomber.
Mad Bomber. And correct me if I'm wrong, you told me you save immediately after that boss fight.
Yes, because if you continue on, you are going to get the next plot point.
So
I kind of want that
immediately after Mad Bomber, you need to stop.
You'll have a codec call as you do in Metal Gear Solid. The minute you have control again, stop. Stop right there, otherwise you're going to be thrown into another cutscene that's going to explain what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
And I'd rather save that for the second part.
Exactly. So stop immediately after the boss fight with the Mad Bomb.
And you'll know that's coming. You'll be like, why didn't you give it a name? Trust me, I don't want to give a name yet.
It's going to be a bomb. It's going to be the bomb. I love it. State
Anyway.
of the Save at gmail.com. At State of the Save on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you continue to give us reviews. We got a couple reviews on a couple different platforms. We appreciate that very, very, very much. It helps get the show out. It helps puts it in front of more people. Helps us give us more opportunities. So any reviews, 5 stars on all your favorite platforms, it will help us out a lot. Thank you so very much for the people who have recently started giving us some. As always, stay safe out there.